And some of the things we address in the Empowered Woman Experience course is just how unattainable cultural ideals actually are, and they become ideals so that you will pursue them in the things that you buy and relate to in terms of your own sense of beauty debt. So among women, you don't not only have just a body image competition anymore, but all the roles that you play, you compete against each other in it. There's even a word now called mom petition in terms of competition between new moms for, you know, having the best for their kids, or overscheduling their kids, or being more involved with their kids than other moms that they know. So there's this whole gender competition that produces a lot more pressure in women than it does in men. Because ladies are reporting across the globe now being more stressed than men. And ladies are reporting across the globe now as well that their lives are more out of control, or feel more out of control than men report. And that's across the globe, so that's ubiquitous. You don't experience a sense of beauty debt anymore. You also now, as female gender, are experiencing a sense of time debt as well, that you don't have time for all the things that you think should be able to get done in a day, or need to get done in a day, because you just have so much what we call role overload. You play so many roles in your life that you're overloaded by them, and that leaves little time for yourself. And that's something that you tend to not look at. So you keep working on your outer appearance as if it's going to somehow translate to a better inner experience of your life. And the research is just showing that that's not true. As a matter of fact, it leads to more anxiety and more overwhelm in your day. So you really think the answer to time debt and to role overload and to the sense of beauty debt, do you really think a diet and a training program solves these things? Or maybe, just maybe, a diet and training program is already adding to an existing pile that makes you feel worse and worse about yourself, and another thing to measure yourself against. Am I pretty enough? How deep is my beauty debt? Am I thin enough? Do I have enough time during the day? Am I a good enough mom? Am I a good enough friend? All these things that women tend to overthink about, that research is starting to reflect, and like I said, it's reflecting this around the globe. So the Empowered Woman Experience is about how to get past all these things and to stop reducing the lens within which you view your life in terms of a diet and training program. Not everyone can just diet and train all day long and have no other responsibilities or things to think about. So you really got to start looking at if your commitment to a diet and training program is actually adding to your sense of time debt, your sense of beauty debt, okay, and your sense of role overload. That not only do you have to do all these things during a day, but do you feel like you better look damn good doing it as well? So how are these things going to lead to contentment? How are these things going to lead to a sense of well-being about who you are and how your life looks to you? Why are women, more than men, reporting being more dissatisfied with their lives across the globe than ever before? One study shows women are now less happy, report being more unhappy than they did 40 years ago. So how much progress is that? A lot of this has to do with your sense of beauty debt, your sense of role overload, and your sense of time debt, that you just don't feel there's enough time during the day. Because even though we're supposed to have all this gender equality, the fact is, women are still 70 to 80% the ones responsible for domestic care, taking care of the house, taking care of the kids, and the mental preoccupation with those things, kids' schedules, house schedules, and women are working outside the home as well. So the home, rather than becoming your haven, is now becoming just another workplace. So all these things have to be considered when we consider wellness and empowerment and contentment within a female psyche. It can't just boil all this down to ridiculous notions of diets and training. When you do, you shrink yourself, you shrink your life, you shrink the way you feel about yourself. And again, does that really sound like the path to freedom, ladies? Does that really sound like the way out of the angst that you feel about your life? If you're like most women, you report, like I said, across the globe being less happy than women were 40 years ago, and being more overwhelmed by life, having a sense of time deficit, beauty deficit, having a sense of not being good enough. All of these things are matters of perception, and within the Empowered Women Experience course that we run, we start to examine these, and then we do something about them with the exercises that we're conducting in order to empower yourself from the inside out, so that you realize an improved appearance doesn't solve any of these things. It doesn't solve your sense of beauty debt. It doesn't solve your sense of role overload. It doesn't solve your sense of time deficit and time debt. So we got to start getting real about getting real on what a female experience is like in the modern world. It's a lot different than what's being sold to you. That if you just correct your body like there's something wrong with it to begin with, then all will be well. You're being sold a bill of goods that does great for marketing goods and services online, but it does nothing to helping you feel good about yourself, feel a sense of contentment and well-being. These are the things that we challenge within the Empowered Woman Experience, and the research is showing women less happy now than they ever were as a gender, and in a less happy compared to men. It's not that men are reporting the same things in the same numbers. So obviously this reflects the cultural pressures on women that we talk about and discuss in the Empowered Women Experience course. You should want to be part of that if you feel any of these things are true about you, that you suffer from role overload, that you suffer from gender competition, that you suffer from a sense of beauty debt, that you suffer from a sense of time debt or time deficit. All these things that give you anxiety, that aren't going to solve themselves just because you lose a few pounds or follow a diet. As a matter of fact, those pressures to do those things usually add to all these pressures and sense that you have about how you feel about yourself. So the Empowered Woman Experience, ladies, it's about a lot more than diets and training, as life should be. If your life is about diet and training, then I would think you've shrunk your life to a level that really doesn't say much about the quality of life you live. So again, we want to get past the appearances of what's real and what's health promoting and get to the real deal. Stop treating symptoms and start looking at causes. So these are common elements of female experience: time debt, beauty debt, role overload that men don't report. As a matter of fact, the gap is widening, that men are actually reporting being happier than women. And do you really think that a diet and training program is going to solve these things? I say no, and I say it's time to start looking at the deeper issues that are existing across cultures for the female experience.